Sometimes, kindness shows up when you least expect it. Not as a grand gesture or a perfect speech, but as a simple message sent on a quiet night, carrying more weight than the sender ever imagined. This is a story about a tired single dad, a woman who kept the world at a distance, and one late-night reply that cracked open two guarded hearts in ways neither of them saw coming. Before we begin, if you enjoy heartfelt stories that remind us of the power of kindness, please subscribe to the channel, like this video, and share your thoughts in the comments. Your support helps Tales River continue bringing meaningful stories like this to life. Mark hadn't planned to be a single dad at 37. Life just happened that way. His wife passed away suddenly 3 years earlier, leaving him with their 6-year-old son, Noah, and a house that felt far too quiet most nights. Mark worked days as a delivery manager, rushed home to make dinner, helped with homework, and collapsed on the couch once Noah fell asleep. Their neighborhood was peaceful, the kind of suburban street where lawns were trimmed and people waved politely but rarely talked. Everyone knew everyone else by face, not by story. Everyone, that is, except the woman next door. Her name was Lena. Mark only knew that because he'd seen it on a package left at her door once. She was quiet. Distant. Always polite, but never warm. She'd nod if they crossed paths, offer a brief hello, then disappear inside like she was closing a door on the world. Noah once asked, "Daddy, why doesn't the lady next door smile?" Mark didn't have an answer. "Maybe she's just shy," he said, though he wasn't sure he believed it. Winter came early that year. Cold nights, shorter days, and a kind of loneliness that settled deep in Mark's chest. He tried dating apps once, deleted them after 2 awkward conversations, and told himself he didn't have time for anything complicated anyway. Then one evening, after Noah was asleep and the house felt especially still, Mark noticed his phone buzz. It was a neighborhood group message about trash pickup delays. Lena's number was in the thread. He stared at her name longer than he should have. Mark wasn't proud of what he did next. He told himself it was harmless. Just a little human connection. He typed a message, deleted it, typed again. "Hey, this is Mark from next door. Random question, but do you always manage to survive winter without smiling, or am I just catching you on serious days?" Slightly smiling face. He read it 3 times. Too much? Maybe. He hovered over the send button, sighed, and pressed it before he could talk himself out of it. Instant regret followed. "That was stupid," he muttered, setting the phone down and turning off the light. He expected no reply. Or worse, a cold, offended response in the morning. But at 12:47 a.m., his phone lit up. Lena had replied. "I don't smile because the last time I did, I lost everything." Mark sat up in bed, his heart pounding. That wasn't flirting. That wasn't small talk. That was pain, raw and exposed. He stared at the screen, unsure what to say. The old Mark might have tried to joke it away or apologize and retreat. But something about her words stopped him. "I'm really sorry," he typed slowly. "I didn't mean to be insensitive. I'm here if you want to talk. No pressure." Minutes passed. Then more dots appeared. "My husband died 2 years ago," she wrote. "Car accident. Drunk driver. I haven't really talked to anyone since." Mark felt a familiar ache. Grief recognized grief. "I lost my wife," he replied. 3 years ago. It changes everything." That was the moment the wall between them cracked. They texted until almost 3 in the morning. About sleepless nights. About how grief didn't fade, it just changed shape. About how the world kept moving even when you felt stuck in place. Lena admitted she avoided people because it hurt to pretend she was okay. Mark shared how exhausting it was to be strong all the time for Noah. Neither of them flirted again that night. They didn't need to. The next morning, Mark woke up tired but lighter. For the first time in a long while, he felt seen. Over the next few weeks, their texts continued. Sometimes short. Sometimes long. Sometimes just a "good luck today" or "hope you're staying warm." Simple kindnesses that slowly became something to look forward to. Lena started waving when Mark picked Noah up from school. One afternoon, she surprised him by kneeling down and saying hello to Noah, asking about his favorite superhero. Noah beamed. She smiled, Noah whispered later, like it was a miracle. One night, a heavy snowstorm hit. Mark was out of milk, and Noah had a cough. Before he could even think it through, there was a knock at the door. Lena stood there, holding a small bag. "I had extra," she said softly. "Thought you might need it." That moment did something to Mark. It wasn't the milk. It was the thought. The effort. The kindness. He invited her in for a few minutes. They stood awkwardly at first, then talked like old friends. No pressure. No expectations. Just warmth. Kindness became their language. When Lena had a rough day, Mark left a note on her porch, "You don't have to be strong today." When Mark struggled with work stress, Lena sent a message reminding him he was doing his best. Slowly, the cold neighbor became a presence that brought comfort instead of distance. Months passed. Spring arrived. The world softened. So did they. One evening, Lena admitted something that made Mark's throat tighten. "That night you texted me," she said, "I was in a really dark place. I didn't think anyone noticed me anymore." Mark swallowed hard. "I almost didn't send it." "I'm glad you did," she said. They never rushed into anything. They honored their pasts. They understood each other's silences. What grew between them wasn't fireworks. It was steady. Gentle. Real. And it all started with one imperfect message, sent by a tired man who thought he had nothing left to give. Years later, Mark would look back and realize something important. Kindness isn't always neat or planned. Sometimes it's awkward. Sometimes it risks rejection. But sometimes, it reaches someone right when they need it most. Lena eventually smiled more. Not because her pain disappeared, but because it was shared. Mark laughed more. Noah gained another person who cared deeply about him. Their neighbors noticed the change. The quiet house next door wasn't so quiet anymore. And Mark learned that kindness doesn't just help others heal. It heals the giver too. If there's one thing this story reminds us, it's this: you never know what someone is carrying. A small act of kindness, a simple message, or a moment of courage can change a life, maybe even your own. So tonight, or tomorrow, or whenever you get the chance, choose kindness. Send the message. Offer the help. Share the smile. Because sometimes, kindness is the beginning of everything.